welcome to the Drumwell Podcast, where we look at what drummers do away from the kit in order to do their best behind the kit. And today I have got a fantastic guest, Bleed the Sky, Vended, Chimaira, Devildriver. He's done them all. He's smashing it out. He's a good friend of mine. I'm very privileged to have him here today. Austin Diamond, thank you so much for giving me your time and coming on.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. Good to see you. It's been a minute since I've seen you. So what better way to start up where we left off, doing the 7-minute workout, before
7
every
at
show.
7?
Yeah, dude, 7 at 7. Yeah.
Well, I think the last time I saw you in person, was in Brisbane.
Yeah.
In my hometown, yeah. We went for that little walk up to Death Before Decaf coffee place and grabbed a coffee, and then you smashed it out with Devildriver that night.
Yes, sir.
I think that's the last time I saw you in person because then COVID hit soon after that, I think.
Correct, yeah. I think that was probably 2019, right? I believe.
Yeah. Because we did our run with you guys in 2018, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
18, 17,
Super Joint,
18.
Right? Super Joint.
Yeah,
36
Super Joint, Devildriver.
36 Crazy Fist, I think. Right? They were on it.
I think Child Bite was on it. Oh,
Child Bite, yeah.
Kane Hill.
Yeah.
That's
it, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little while ago too. So
time flies.
Anyway, it does, man. It does. But you're doing well. It's good to see.
Yeah, 100%.
We're all doing well. Let's just dive right into this.
Sure.
Drumwell Podcast. We're talking about drummer wellness, and so what do you do away from the kit in order to keep your body primed to do what you do behind the kit? So exercise, diet, etc.
So, I mean, that's always kind of been a focal point. Well, I get maybe not always. I'd like to start off with, I'm almost coming up on 7 years of sobriety here. So that has definitely made my path a lot easier on my body and for me to focus on that wellness aspect of, mind, body, soul. And I kind of just have a daily regiment of I'm going to do something physical. I'm going to do something that helps my mental stability. And, I'm going to be a kind person. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But definitely try to... I've been getting into running again. That's something I realize kind of favors both ends of the spectrum for me. All three, maybe. It's a bit of escapism. It's something I can do kind of melodramatically and monotonously almost, and it just has that. And I like to do a lot of that when I'm doing when I'm studying for like a new project, like. I don't know how other drummers dive into their stuff, but I gotta listen to stuff a million times, so I get all the changes and all that stuff. And like, it's really tough for me to just sit still and do that. Like, it's no fun at all, and just like sit there and concentrate. And it's just much better to be doing something while I'm trying to consume this music. You know what I mean? So running has always gone hand in hand with me learning new stuff. So. You'll know that when I'm running a lot, I'm probably working on some stuff too, right? So, and it's something I enjoyed. I grew up. We've talked about this kind of stuff, but I grew up a big boy most of my life. I was at 245 as a youngster, and running was the first thing that I could think of to just do as much as possible to try to get ahead of things. And then obviously the diet came probably 5 years into my journey of trying to get into better shape, right? And then the drumming certainly helped and stuff like that, right? But the running was instantly like something that helped me massively. A lot of people say, running's not going to get you to lose weight and stuff like that. Well, I'm like, do it every day and push yourself, and don't let anything else get in the way of that. And I dare you to not find results. You know what I mean? Because, but I think things really started to shape differently when I understood healthy eating and stuff like that, because I realized, I was eating nothing but Del Taco, and I guess that's not an
Yeah.
Australia thing, but yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Del Taco
We
here is
have,
just like Taco Bell, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we've got Taco Bell here now.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the
Yeah.
West Coast Taco Bell, Del Taco. That's my kryptonite. But I
Yep.
was slamming stuff like that, and just slamming 5, 6 sodas a day. What's water? You know what I mean? Like that was never a thing. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty vigilant on that, and I'm getting old. I'm getting older. I'm 40 now, so it's just like,
Yep.
and we're playing extreme music. So there's
Totally.
just no way if I didn't take this route, I don't think that I would be able to keep up with this stuff, because it's like all the smoking and drinking, all the stuff, right? It was like, just, I don't even know how the hell I was doing that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, but
Oh,
now it's
you
like
bounce back
mandatory.
though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When we were young,
you bounce back when you're younger. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But I've actually found this a very similar path with a lot of drummers, including myself. Like I wouldn't say I'm completely sober by any means, but I haven't been drunk since 2016.
yeah,
And it's very rare that I'll have a drink these days. It just doesn't serve me anymore. Like I might have the odd beer, a
yeah,
light beer usually, but it just doesn't serve me anymore. And yeah, same. I did a lot of running, and I love doing that to learn songs as well.
yeah,
But I haven't been able to run so much with my lower back issues, which is a lot of the reason this podcast came about. Is just through that and the sort of rehab I did, and the stuff I had to stop doing that I enjoyed, and the things I can do now that I actually quite enjoy. So, but yeah, and diet's a massive part of it. Like just the way your body reacts to certain foods in the morning. Like I used to always have avocado on toast. It's an Australian staple, aside from Vegemite, of course.
all right, yeah,
But it's the sugar in bread gives your body a sugar rush first thing in the morning. So now I have like mushrooms and vegetables and eggs and like yeah, just sort of control that inflammation a bit, because yeah, as we get a bit older, it's hard to maintain the party life if you want to keep
yeah,
playing extreme drums. Yeah.
yeah. The
Mm.
whole and it's funny with like food is like, it becomes, there's this whole stigma with it of like, I hate the word diet, you know what I mean? It's like,
Mm.
because I feel like the word diet means like it's something you're going to go on and then it's going to end. You know what I mean? But that's like
Yeah.
not the case if you're in for the long term results. It's got to be like a lifestyle, right? So it's just like,
Oh, totally.
and I don't think I quite realized that as I was on my like weight loss journey as a kid, because I just wanted that weight gone. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I didn't understand the maintaining it part, because I definitely fluctuated a lot. And again, I was partying, and I still didn't
Yeah.
know what was working for me in my body. Because any doctor will tell you, like, just because this diet's working for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for your body. And you kind of have
Mm.
to go down those paths and those journeys, from the keto to the carnivore to the paleo. There's so many, there's so much information, but you gotta do what works for you and try it out, and give yourself a healthy amount of time. Don't just like, and that's another thing, is like we're all very reward system based beings, and we have these expectations of it needs to happen now, and like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing in life is just gonna happen like that. There's just, you gotta accept that, and give something a healthy amount of time. Say, all right, I like, do your research. I like how this sounds. Maybe this is going to be something good for me. Cool. You've made a decision. Go down that path, but do it for like a month. You know what I mean? Don't be
Mm.
like a week. Oh man, I'm not like 30 pounds down. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, well, that's not very,
You
yeah,
can't go to the
it's
gym
not
once and walk
realistic.
out with a six pack.
It's never gonna happen, dude. I've still never had
Yeah.
a six pack, and it's, why?
Nah,
It's my
same.
own fault, because I hate doing abs, and all,
Yeah.
and at least I'm aware of it. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's like, if I really want something, I have to go create a regimen, and you know, for me, it's like pad to paper helps a lot. Like, because
Yep.
I have a million ideas, right? But until they're like on if I don't have a script, like they're just gonna stew up here in my freaking brain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I got one right here.
yeah, you know what I'm
I write
saying? So,
I write a lot of things down these days. Yeah, it's certainly helped a lot.
100%. Yeah. So
Mm,
as far as working out actually has become more like with weights has become more in my latter half of my life. And I just really like the results that I get, and I
hmm
feel like I actually get to eat a little bit more while building like a
Yeah.
little muscle, but I get leaner. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
diet's so interesting and it's so specific to our body types, and there's so much of this information out there, but it's just like, again, it's just like we you come up with the idea of like, all right, I'm gonna do this thing, but it's just like I think we get more excited about the results and like,
Mm,
you know what I mean? So you need that initial momentum, but then it's like, you gotta plan it out in a way. It's like, what am I going to do to keep myself stimulated enough to continue doing this thing? And you only find
yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff out by succeeding at something. You know what I mean? So it's just like you almost parallel whatever you did right in life. And then you like, if health is your new goal, like you got to use that other thing that you've done right in life with your, stick to itiveness
Yep.
towards that, or you're not gonna get that result. So
Yeah. That's it. You got to dedicate yourself to it. So
100%, yeah.
yeah, that's definitely with my weight loss. I mean, when I first met you, I was probably a little chunky. That
A little
was
bit, but
what?
you were on your way, like, because you were showing me pictures, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa!" And then, but like, even from that picture to where you were at, I was like, "Dude, good job." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the first. That was actually the first time I started a little journey, and then I kind of slipped back into old habits. And then 2016 was round two, and that was when I just maintained it. I just thought, all right, I'd had some really bad hangovers. I thought like I just need like a month off. And I went, nah, I need 3 months. And I was looking through, going, oh no, but I got to go to this thing, and oh, I'll probably have to have some drinks there, and like, you know what? I don't have to do it. I don't have to drink it all. I can still go to everything and just have water. So I just went, that's it, 3 months. And then I just went, you know what? I don't know anything too much about all these diets. So I'm just going to eat lean meat and vegetables, really clean, 3 months, no booze, no sugar, like no juice, no soft drinks or sodas, nothing like that. And through that 3 months, I started seeing a naturopath, and then she was giving me certain things, and I started getting bloods done and going, oh, this and this is that, but you can heal it like this, like liver and kidneys, obviously filtering organs. They cop a bit of damage with drinking, and basically, I didn't jump on the scales I started that in August, and then I didn't jump on the scales until December after I'd been on I think it was a 7 or 8 week tour of Europe. And I was like thinking at the time, I said to my naturopath before I went, hey, it's been, 6 months. I might have a beer on this trip because it was with Obituary, and they're good mates of mine. And she goes, oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be better if you didn't. And I went, all right, I won't. And I didn't. I didn't have any drinks or anything. Stuck to the diet. Always found something I could eat. Even touring the US, always found something I could eat that wasn't like late night pizza or that sort of thing. Like if I have to have a banana, I'll have a banana. If I have to just have a protein shake, I'll do that. But
Yeah.
really just getting in the mindset and sticking to it. And it was a whole year, and it just changed everything for me. And I'm still on that journey, I think. Yeah, just
Yeah. And it becomes the
yeah,
new obsession. It's weird. It's like it seems like such a daunting task when you go towards this. Like initially,
yeah.
like I mentioned, it's like you get excited about the excitement, and then you're in the work, and you're like, "Dang, this is a little bit harder than I realized." To like not want to cheat and not, you know what I mean, to not want to like
Mm,
have that terrible item. But if food is your thing and you were ever overweight or this or that, chances are you need to take a look at that because like we're probably over heightened, right? And like
yeah.
people that do what we do, we just love being stimulated. So it's like whatever
Mm.
next thing that we find, and it gives us an instant high, like whatever it may be, chances are you're going to
Yeah.
want to keep doing that thing, right? And all of a sudden you're boom, 30 pounds overweight, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
like, but you have to give yourself that time yet again, I think, to get the results, to be like, infatuated with that now, right? And then I think somewhere in there, the pattern, the routine kind of just becomes part of your daily life. And I think that's kind of like where we all want to be with things that were once hard, now is just how you live, right? And it's like, I
Yeah.
think we all kind of strive for that autopilot, and like we have these things that we naturally turn away from, and then all of a sudden we stick to something, and now it's like boom, it's just is what we do. It's not this daunting thing. It's just like, I like how I feel and look and like just all of it. And it's like second nature, right? And then you deep even further into it, or you dive further into it because you're excited about all that, right? And then maybe you're doing something
Mm.
like this where you're helping other people
Yeah. Yeah.
understand what they could be, at least it sparks something in them to want to try it out, or this or that. It's all good in the end.
Well, this is exactly like you're saying. This is really basically the conversations I was having with drummers, and obviously a lot of my drummer mates are around our age, and everyone's they are finding similar paths. Where, hey, I love playing drums more than I love partying. That's got to go because I need to continue to do what I do at this elite level. Because the drummer, like, really the backbone of the band. If you got a bad drummer,
100%.
you got a bad band, really.
Yeah,
So
people you're nodding your head to our snare rhythm. That's like where it's at.
exactly,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
You're jumping to our groove.
like it or not,
Yeah.
singer, we're important.
Yep. Hey,
um,
I've been lucky with my singer. He helps me carry things and set up and stuff. So
wow, you found
yeah,
yourself
yeah,
a rarity.
yeah. He's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Let's just touch a bit more on your sobriety. Like,
yeah.
was actually drumming? Did that play any part in your decision to get sober, or was it more those other aspects of just feeling good, or was it like, I could be a better drummer if I get sober, as well as a better partner,
It was
person?
it was everything, dude. It was I was one of those people that kind of took stuff way extreme, and I was able to
Mm,
keep things more under wraps, I think, on tour, or the acceptable things in society as far as drugs and alcohol go. And then I'd come
yeah,
home and it'd get more dark and I'd do crazier drugs, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
for me, it was more, I feel like, life or death. I was also, I was also like blessed with the ability to, like, once in a while, just like, all right, I just gotta, like, many times I gotta stop doing what I'm
mm,
doing. And then I would, like, just as quick as stop that, I'd just drop right back into health. And it was just like
yeah,
mind blowing that I'd be able to do both, and it turned
mm,
one side off and then right back the complete opposite spectrum. So it's just like, and they call
yeah,
that the all or nothing kind of human, right? And
right,
I
yeah,
definitely suffer from that. So it's just like, I just had to be honest and accept that this is who I am. You know what I mean? But it turns out
yeah,
this is
yeah.
the best me that I could be, and I love that. I love that. I feel blessed that I was gifted that opportunity to, like, have sobriety and to understand, like, this is how it has to be. It's not even about the drumming, or because
Mm,
if I die, I don't have drumming anyways, right? But I
totally,
I will
totally.
touch a little bit on the early onsides of some things, I think, from like the party, and mainly the alcohol. Super interesting. It makes perfect sense. But like, I remember when I was younger, too young for this kind of shit to be happening. But yeah, like, I had the whole wrist cramping up thing, and I
Yeah,
know now that it was just because we were just getting so drunk every night, and I was getting
right.
that, like, every other night on certain tours, like, my thumb would just start caving in, and I'm like
Yeah,
using
yeah,
all arm, and you're a drummer, we're supposed to be using
yeah,
wrist, right?
yeah,
And so I
yeah.
was like, dude, my career's done, and then, like, and then I just stopped doing things like drinking before the show, and oh, imagine that,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not happening. You know what I mean? So it's just
Right.
like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. When you're young, you're so naive. You think you're Superman, and that shit don't matter or whatever. But like that was definitely a scare. And I look back, I'm like, that was for sure from alcohol. Like
Yeah.
like just swelling me up, and
Oh yeah, I learned at a young age that I was no good playing drunk. So that was pretty good actually. Reflecting that from a young age, I played a gig and had a few too many, and I felt like I played terribly. Now probably everyone in the room was on the same level, and it was an underground metal bar in Brisbane, but. I thought, yeah, if I really want to do this, I can't be sloppy. I've got to be. It's pretty serious, and but I suppose a lot of the time, you as a drummer as well, I'm the guy with the van, I'm the guy
yeah,
driving all the gear around. So yeah, so there was that. That was always helpful because I've never been one to drink drive or drive under the influence. So
right.
um, yeah, so that always was quite helpful.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess for me when it was party time, I'd have a drink in each hand and wouldn't remember half the night towards the end of my drinking career. But
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, it's I think it's because are you still doing that
yeah.
shred sober
That's
thing? Yeah.
floating around out there. I'm
Hmm.
kind of bad at promoting it. I'm not a. I'm trying to be better about marketing myself, but like it's
It's
such a
tough, isn't
weird.
it?
It's weird, coming from. I'm gonna sound like an old head as the youngsters call us, but it's like yeah, we came from a time where like you didn't have to do much of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, if you were lucky to make it at all, right? You just kind of you see everyone out on the road and or not, right? And
Hmm.
you learn to you learn about your this band that you've been listening to through the CD booklet, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess I guess like MySpace was still a thing, so that was just like brand new shit, and this
Yeah.
whole yeah. So it's just like I don't know. I think we're from a different time where it's just but it's no excuse, So
Oh no.
I find like I'm pretty personable. So I just need
Yep.
to just dive into it. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, that's something that off topic slightly, but that's something that we've just recently discussed with King Parrot. How we need to have more content because that's what people are looking
Yeah,
at, and it's just like, man, what do we do? We're not we don't sort of think in that sort of way that the younger generation do, where they can just sort of create stuff. I guess maybe we're from more of a time where it's like you do think about it more. I'm actually trying to do a lot less of that. I'm just sort of doing a lot more of ready, fire, aim rather than ready, aim, fire. Because
yeah. It's weird. It's just
done is better than perfect, and just get stuff out there and just you know
that's a great outlook. I think.
tweak
Yeah,
tweak it as you go.
exactly. I
Mm.
think at the
Yeah,
initial approach, like, and I know it's going to be the same for me. It's just like don't be in your mind about it so much.
yeah,
Just like put it out there and then
yep,
like wait for response and then you'll kind of find your rhythm. I believe that it's just the same thing with the health, right? It's just like wait,
yep.
did you really know what you were doing at first?
Not
But
at
like
all.
your mind probably told you like, well, this can't be good, so let's get rid of that and let's just okay, I'm gonna start running every day. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so some things, meat and potatoes are gonna just be the first strategy.
yeah. I
Um,
think that's definitely a thing with the weight loss journey and the exercise and the health, and you initially you do notice it so much. Like I had so much more energy. I felt so much more mental clarity. Um, and then yeah, like I said, I didn't actually jump on the scales until after that obituary tour, and I dropped 20 kilos. I'm not sure what that is in pounds, probably about 50 pounds.
damn.
Dropped, and I hadn't jumped on the scales. I just thought, no, I'm just going to keep doing it dedicated, and then I'll look. And my goal was to drop 30 kilos, which I know is 66 pounds because I've discussed that with people before. And so yeah, I did that within the year. I'd done that. So
Dang.
but I just maintained that year, and then ever since I've really maintained it. I'll have a bit of chocolate here and there. I might have an
Yeah.
ice cream.
Yeah.
Uh, I got a bit naughty over Easter and had a lot of hot cross buns and a lot of chocolate. And then I went, all right, that was where my little April challenge came from, where I just went, yep, really clean eating, no sugar, no booze. Not that I really booze anyway, but the one time I might have had a beer, I didn't,
Yeah.
So, and just sort of I do that off from time to time just to maintain and maybe sort of try and climb to that next level, I guess, like where you can push a bit harder because you didn't have that ice cream on the weekend. Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah, I would say too, it's like the more you notice about like food when you like I'm like so conscious when I go out to eat somewhere because I just don't know what the hell they're cooking this shit with.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what kind of oils, because there's good oils and there's the shit oils that most restaurants will use, or especially fast food, any of that canola, vegetable, any of that bullshit. Basically if it's not like avocado or olive, like it's shit. And you can go even further and say if it's not unrefined, it's still a bit of shit too. That shit goes so crazy down the loophole. But I also wonder, is that just an America thing? Or for sure, I know when I go to Europe, it's just like, bro, like nothing says organic because it just fucking is. Like I really respect that about over there, where I'm not having to, you know what I mean? Like over here, you pay extra for organic, and is it really?
Same.
Like how real is it, or did you just pay for? Because they pay for that symbol to be on their bottles of shit. That's all. That's all it really is. And if you know anything about the FDA or whatever, only 45% of those nutrition facts need to be fucking legit. So what the fuck am I eating?
I don't
know.
Yeah, I mean,
I can go on about that shit.
Oh, totally. You can't. I mean, you can't get. You don't know how it's grown. I suppose a lot of stuff is hydroponically grown and factory farmed and whatnot. But I think as far as, and you're maybe not getting the same sort of nutrients out of buying a broccoli at the grocery store versus growing it in your backyard. But
correct. Yeah.
I feel like at least going to the grocery store and getting the freshest stuff you can and not packaged, as little packaged as possible. Everything's about balance. You can't avoid it all, but well, you can if you want. You can.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. You can start a bloody forest in your backyard and grow all sorts of stuff.
100%.
Like, we've got a few little things going. My girlfriend's right into that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, I just started doing that here too. My stepdad's done that forever, so that inspired me for sure. It's like, because he's been retired, I'm like, dude, that looks like he is so content being retired and just like tending to that garden. I'm like, that looks like the most peaceful shit ever. What does that feel like to like feel okay to just garden all day and you're just chilling? It's fucking badass.
That's actually I read this book recently called Ikigai, and it's basically the Japanese word for, what do you love, what are you good at, and you sort of mix these various different things and you find out what you love and what you're good at and what you're something social, and that's how you, and then how do you make money doing it. And you don't have to be a millionaire or anything. It's just like, how can you be the best person you can be, content. And a lot of these super centurions on the island of Okinawa live like that, where they've got a garden, they tend to their garden, they sell whatever they've grown, or they swap it, or they trade, and they've got community, they just live a good active life. And these people are living from, there's so many, they've got the most percentage of plus 100-year-old people, and then the super centurions over 110. I think they've got the most of them as well. Yeah. It's that's sort of
amazing.
area. And they've got there's certain fruits. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like really high in antioxidants. And there's that sort of belt. I think there's a place in Italy that's similar, that sort of belt around the world there, where they've got these certain high antioxidant foods, and just lead an active social life.
Yeah.
And
sounds beautiful to me, man. I like it.
Yeah, just peace of mind, little or no stress, eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think we definitely get away from like. I mean, I consider myself like pretty much a simpleton. You know what I mean? Like I'm a simple
Hmm.
man. So like when I think about looking back in history, like one thing that strikes me is all the old paintings, right?
Yeah,
What are the
yeah.
pictures of these old paintings of these our old forefathers, whatever, ancestors, whatever you want to call them. What do they
Yeah.
all look like? They're all ripped up. They all got these abs, and
Yeah.
that. So I don't believe that's just some depiction. I think that's like kind of
No,
what
no.
everybody looked like, and why is that? Because we didn't have modified food yet. It was all of the food was real, and
Yep.
furthermore, they were inadvertently probably fasting all the time, unless they
Of
killed that
course.
fucking animal that they were chasing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if not, boom, I guess we're just eating these berries again tonight, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somehow we made it here. So it's just like I don't know. It seems pretty easy to me. Eat real food. You know, I follow this guy. He's hilarious. I think he's an English dude. God, I wish I remembered his name right now. Older dude, but he's hilarious. And he was like a professional weightlifter, and his health was going all bad, and he just started dialing it in, and he's like 70, still lifts weights and all this, but his whole thing is just eat real food, like
Yep.
plain and simple. Like if it's in a bag and it's got all these different words you can't pronounce, it's probably not meant to be in your body. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much rule of thumb for me. It's like like whatever I'm eating that should be the ingredient in a sense. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yep.
like if it's in a bag, it's probably like for me, it's like bare apple chips, right? And what's the ingredients down
Mm.
there? Fucking apples. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're crunchy chips, and I like it because it's like
Yeah.
a chip, but it's an apple.
Yeah.
I like eating shit that should be bad for me that is actually healthy for me, and I've found
Yeah, yeah,
ways to
yeah.
make that happen too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
So yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. Let's pivot a little bit and we'll
yeah.
talk about some drum stuff.
Oh sure.
I would love to know you do a lot of session, you do a bit of solo, you've done plenty of bands. I'd love to know what your warm up routine is, not only for practice but for gigs.
For practice. I don't know. Like I think my practice routine generally is like I actually like to go rogue and kind of look at like there's so many of these people putting out chops and this and that,
Mm.
and that's just something I never did as a metal guy growing up. That shit
Neither did
wasn't
I.
readily available, and so I'm
Yeah.
super intrigued by all that. So I try to find something that looks pretty doable and that I can put on repeat. You know what I mean? And I'll
Hmm.
play it at a super slow pace, and then I'll kind of speed it up, and I'll do that for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll probably just do some singles, some doubles, and then kind of I always like the way I taught myself double bass was and doing different patterns was just from my marching line stuff. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff I learned in there. After just the standard one, once I had like once I had that down, it was like okay, what comes after this? I
Yeah.
have double bass, but what's next, right?
Mm.
And then so the way I was creating parts was just playing something with my hands and then try to emulate it with my feet, but I would do it back to back.
Right. Yeah.
You know
Oh, cool.
what I mean? And then I was like,
Yep.
oh, cool. So I can make a beat out of that, right?
Yeah.
And it just,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's kind of how I taught myself double bass and like chopping up patterns and stuff, you know what I mean? So I do that
Mm.
probably for like, I don't know, not very long. Like for a show though, I definitely like to warm up for like at least 30 minutes,
Yeah.
get the kicks out, kick pad,
Yeah.
snare. But I actually like to just jam to like rap music or
Right. Yeah.
it's like some heavy dubstep kind of stuff, something that where I
Hmm.
can get that energy that I'll have from the metal show, but
Yeah.
like it's just very trance like, and just like I'm just having fun playing drums, right? So
Mm.
I'll practice, my little regiment for like a few minutes, but then I'll just get straight into that, start building
Yeah.
up a bit of a sweat,
Yeah. Yeah.
do a little stretching, stuff like that. For sure, do some stretching. But
Mm.
yeah, nothing too over the top for my I definitely do warm up though. When I was young, I did never warmed up. I just was
Yeah,
like, this was the
straight on.
warm up, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. I think
crazy.
that's probably another thing I started. Yeah, it's probably more mid to late 20s, I suppose,
Yeah,
where I saw other people warming up and I just kind of started doing it too. Like, oh, what's this guy doing? I never really did any stick work or anything and just play. And you would get the cramps, like you were saying earlier, the lactic acid buildup.
yeah,
Whereas when I started warming up, it was like I'd get rid of that before I even started playing. That's
for
part of
sure.
the warm up.
Hmm.
But I mean, my warm ups evolved a lot over the years. But with practice, I'll do hip hinges because I do resistance band hip hinges because of my lower back thing. I'll do those before I practice and before I play. But definitely with practice, it's just sit down and start playing, and that's how I warm up. I won't
Yeah,
go, I won't go balls out straight away, but
yeah,
yeah, like what you were saying, just have a little jam, muck around,
yeah.
have a little hit.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. One other thing I definitely like to use, is just something that's engraved in me, is just when I go out on the road, I definitely like when my warm up sticks are marching sticks. Like
yep,
they're
same.
bigger. I want the ability to go from these heavy sticks to something that's like 5 Bs if that's what I play.
Yeah,
So from that to that is like drastic. But
yeah,
I know straight away that, and you've seen me play, that I'll be able to go in immediately and just
exactly.
I don't have time to waste. It's it's a fight in there. I like to play like I'm Mike Tyson on drums. Like just
Yeah, man, putting
it's
on a
just
show.
old school.
Yeah,
It's an old school mentality. I don't see a lot of that anymore. I don't see a lot of people just going for the fence.
yeah,
But all right, that's what makes me me, I guess. So.
that's it. It's part of it. Do you
Uh,
remember those sticks that I had when we were out? I have these massive marching sticks, but they got rubber tips on them.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I sort of started. Someone I knew was using those, and it was like, wow, I could take these, and I don't have to pack a practice pad. so,
Exactly. Yeah.
so I'll just take them everywhere now, and
Hmm.
just sort of, I'll just do that, and I'll just do doubles on the floor without the pedals, and then once I start hitting my pedals on stage, I'm good. But
Are you doing
yeah, sort of.
doubles? Are you doing doubles now on your kicks?
Oh no, I'm a single stroke guy, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just do like rudiments with like
Yeah.
just a basic single stroke double 16ths
Yep.
under the sticks, and I'll just tap on whatever's there with my
Yeah.
little bouncy. But yeah,
Y-
that really builds it up,
Yes, sir.
and I guess it just evolved over time. Where now well, I was doing the 7 at 7 when we were doing that tour. That was a bit of a warm up, and
Hmm.
then I used to do a 7 minute workout before every show for a while there, but yeah, now I do a lot more like functional movement stuff, a lot of squatting, a lot of hip hinging, push ups, just
Hmm.
those sorts of things, and definitely crack a sweat.
It
And yeah,
helps, dude.
yeah,
Helps so
yeah,
much. Opens up the lungs, gets you ready
yeah, yeah,
for,
yeah.
for all those
Gets you ready for
moments.
more sweat.
Yeah, more
For
sweat
more
and
sweat,
like
yeah.
gets you ready. Yeah, gets you ready to. One thing I noticed that is funny about drumming, certain songs, maybe you notice this, like you have a couple songs that are like the hold on for dear life moments
Yep.
where you're like, don't forget to breathe. Like I know this
Yeah,
part's gonna be
yeah,
intense, but it's like you gotta breathe through it, man. You're just gonna
yeah.
kill yourself.
I, I think exercise, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
learning, because that's something I'm really bad at, especially with exercise, where, like, you got to breathe at a certain time when you're doing like weights, like lift, you breathe out when you lift and you breathe in when you go, like, go down or whatever. I always do it the opposite. So I've had to
Yeah.
really train myself to do that. But that has actually really helped in drumming some of those parts where I can, like, suck it in and
Yeah.
slowly exhale, and yeah, that's definitely helped breathing. I do a lot of
Absolutely.
meditating these days as well, which helps.
That's awesome.
um
I need to that's something I need to work on. Me sitting still with my thoughts and not like drifting into a million conversations with myself is still tough at 40, which
Mm.
is engraved with ADD.
Yeah. I think it's part of everyone. I think
Yeah.
it's just yeah, but it's I don't know. I found more of it's just acknowledging those thoughts, and I guess the more I've done it, the less they'll come up straight away, but the more I can sort of acknowledge them and let them go. Or
Yeah.
another really good thing I heard, actually totally off topic again, a good thing I heard about meditation, where a lot of people have those thoughts, is you just have a blank piece of paper and a pen, have your hand on the pen, you still got your eyes closed, you're still breathing, and if a thought comes into your mind and you're stuck on it, you just write that down, then your brain can let it go, because it's like, okay, I know that's written down now, I'm not going to forget it, and then you can start fresh again. But yeah, it's a
I like that. That's cool.
little hack I just heard recently, actually.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, what about you did bring up before about cramping and stuff? Drum-related injuries, or like that happened as a result of drumming, like RSI, or injuries that you've had that may have inhibited your ability to play, like a broken leg and you couldn't go out, or
Dude,
and what did you do to overcome them?
you're gonna laugh, but I don't know, man. I've been super lucky with all that. I like even through all my debauchery, you would think for sure something like that would have happened, but
Yep,
nothing,
that's
dude.
amazing.
I've been extremely lucky. Knock on wood, but
Yep,
I and maybe I haven't been extremely lucky. Maybe it's because of the things I've been doing that have enabled me to not break stuff, and you know what I mean.
yep,
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had to face too much of that other than just age. The only thing I can say is for a while there, for probably during the COVID years, I was not practicing as much. Definitely nobody was touring,
mm,
and this was right before 40, and now I've gotten all the way back into drumming like way more often, and just getting back into serious mode. And I definitely noticed like it feels like more of a struggle. Double bass feels harder than ever. You know what I mean? Like
yep,
it just feels different. It's
mm,
not like when I was 20, and it doesn't even matter
yep,
what the settings are. I just get on there and just like
yeah, yeah,
work pair paddles. I don't care what you got. I'm gonna tear these things up, you know. And now like
yeah,
all this shit matters. Drum height, throne height, like all the heights, all this
mm,
stuff matters and plays a difference. But I could definitely start seeing some of that slip away. And yet again, you attribute it all to consistency and
mm-hmm,
dedication, to the routine, and it's all
yep,
starting to come back, like more and more and more. And you know, when you start not doing anything, I think you start losing passion for it. Stuff starts to get away from you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And no, that's just the reality, And I could say that was the first time that I'd ever like. I've not practiced plenty of times as a drummer. I'm not proud of that, but
yeah,
I was able to just step right back and be the same caliber. And
mm-hmm,
this time back around, it took a minute for me to be like, why is 200 BPMs like feeling weird? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
weird. And then now it's like nothing already. But it took like a month to get like to where it felt like nothing. I was like, fuck, okay, can't not
yeah,
practice. Like
yeah, yeah,
that's like what? It's like, all right, I'm going to do calf raises. I'm going to run. I'm going to do
yeah,
fucking leg lifts, everything, and
yeah,
it's all paying off, I can't say enough about how important, especially as you're aging,
yeah,
youngsters, if you're watching this, it's coming. I don't
yeah,
care if I sound like an old man or not. You will be that old man one day and be like, fuck, could have got ahead
yeah.
of this.
Well, that's
Just
it.
find your thing and just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Don't look for results too much, and just enjoy the idea that it's good for you and that it's gonna pay off in its own way over its own time.
Yeah.
and don't have your expectations so high that you quit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
get that out of your way, and just know it's sort of like a lifestyle. You know?
It's part of it. It's part of being a drummer, I think. And it's as I get deeper into this podcast, it's it's quite a theme with a lot of us, a lot of drummers, and you sort of tweak and go, I need to do a bit more than just playing and practicing, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
great thing because I don't, I think for sure, like we're molding the path for whoever's next, and
mm,
this has been what's happening a little bit as if the last probably 6 to 10 years now that it's turning as
yeah,
far as the wellness thing and the mental health and all of it,
mm,
it's finally like made its way in as like it's not like the elephant in the room, it's like front page
yeah,
news, and we're all actively doing stuff about it too, and I think we're it's just turning that good page, you know what I mean? Look who
yeah,
our forefathers were. Pantera, like, like, and I love
yeah,
Pantera to death, but like bands like that were like, all in your face, and those were our role models, and it's like,
yeah,
so we are like, yeah, we're gonna do it too, and it's like,
yeah,
uh, and again, that was all the reason all of us wanted to start doing it, but you didn't look at that aspect. I think it's important, to make this next change of like, all right, like, take care of yourself. That's definitely more cool than like, you know
yeah.
getting super fucked up, So
Yeah, I think it's all progression.
yeah,
I guess a lot of people get to that crossroads, and some go one way and some go the other.
100%.
Um,
Yeah,
it's choices, isn't it? It's the
yeah,
choices you make, and what's more important to you. Is it
yeah.
getting loaded, or is it uh, playing music, or maybe you don't want to play music anymore, but you definitely want to be able to move for the rest of your life, and
Right.
it's a little bit of activity. I mean, I've found I do a lot of functional movement now because I have a degenerated disc in my spine, L5S1, um, and then did this whole functional movement training course. It was 8 weeks, 16 lessons, and I did a whole bunch of extra stuff. But basically, they just teach you to move properly, and it really strengthens your whole posterior chain. And I've found that like my back not only feels better than it did before the back problem, but the whole posterior chain is just stronger and just pumping more, and I feel like that has actually helped my drumming, especially my lower half, the for the double bass and the balance and the just that extra core strength and the um, center of gravity and all those the ergonomics of
Yeah,
how I play.
yeah.
All that's really helped.
That's so
Also,
Go ahead. Sorry.
uh, adjusting like the kit you've probably done it yourself where you change heights
Oh, a
and
million
shapes
times,
and
bro.
yeah, I just
Like,
twist a
too
lot
much
less now.
sometimes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm just this like uh, thing and everything moves, but my center of gravity just kind of stays in the same spot. That's a few people commented uh, in the States last year. Actually, a few people commented because I just sort of really refined a lot of that over the last year or 2 years since I started the whole back thing,
Yeah,
and yeah,
it's
like just
important.
really, yeah, it's very minor adjustments, but it feels better and it works. So that's always something to keep in mind. Is it's nothing's set in stone. You can always change whatever you need to change, and
Absolutely.
whether that's your diet, your exercise, your setup, your warm up, your cool down. That's something I'm bad for. I never cool
Oh,
down.
yeah.
I just
God,
I finish playing and I start packing up, and
I
I hope
know.
that's that's enough of a cool down,
Yeah, I was
But
watching that, listening to, and that's been a new cool thing I've been able to do while running. If I'm not working on music, is listening to like a drum podcast. Dude, these
Mm-hmm.
are all these things, and I attribute it to my sobriety, my new way of thinking, and probably just coming of age, all of it encompassing.
Yeah.
But I never could have said to you back in the day, again, very Pantera minded, like, I'm just here to rip it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not here to talk to you about gear and ergonomics and like but
Yeah.
like, truthfully, I know that like somewhere deep down in me, like, I'm definitely curious about those things. But I don't want to take the time to learn any of it. You know what I mean? And that's just how
Mm.
naive and just stupid I was back in the day. It's like, I'm just here to rip, you know? But
Yeah.
now I enjoy listening to drummers of all different kinds that do think differently than me, that do have even more love for the craft and like know all the genres of music, know how to play all of them. I'm super intrigued by these guys and look up to them so heavily.
Mm.
Um, and I'm getting a lot from that now too, and that's fueling my fire. It's like, yeah, what am I doing? Why not? Why not learn jazz and like all these things I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shying away from? You know what I mean? It's only going to enhance the vocabulary, and
Totally.
it's just, yeah, it's crazy when you wake up one day and you're like, all right, I think my perspective's going to be different moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really beautiful, and it all. I think it all does stem from your quality and your wellness in your life, and a lot of it
Yeah.
can just start right there, like literally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like you touched on it earlier, and I'm exactly the same. When I started drumming, I wasn't just like, I'm going to play in a heavy metal band. I was a kid, and I was like, I want to play the drums because I like tapping on things, and straight into marching, straight into rudiments and metronomes, and then I guess somewhere along the way, I became a teenager and went, I don't need lessons anymore. I'm just going to play what I want, and then.
Right.
But then, at a later age, I go, damn, I need to really sit down again and learn how to sight read better, because I can still read, but it takes me a minute,
Yeah. Same.
Oh, I got to do,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm teaching these kids. Certain kids come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a marching band and I do. I'm at this school. Like I excelled music schools. These kids are just insane these days." But I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, let me show you this." I'm like looking at it real quick, side reading it first. I'm like, I don't,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I need to
yeah.
kind of learn this before I show it to you, because I don't think if we just put the metronome on right now that I won't mess a couple of these parts up. Because yeah,
Yeah.
it's just out of touch. Haven't done it since high school, but it's been cool jumping back into that and being like, oh yeah, this was so helpful, and and then works your brain in such different ways, and just like it just keeps you sharp, learning new
Yeah.
shit, sharpening the tool shed, and just
Totally.
keeping that drive going. Because it's easy to do nothing. It's
It
easy to
is.
it's but you never feel good about doing nothing. I can't think of anybody that I know that feels good about doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it might sound good to do nothing, but once you're doing nothing, you can only do
Yeah.
nothing for like 20 minutes and feel good about yourself.
Yeah, look, I think you need that sometimes. It's
Yeah,
all balance, yeah. Like
sure,
I
yeah,
think you do need maybe a day where you not necessarily do nothing, but maybe relax and recover.
yeah,
But
exactly.
if you're doing that every day and eating bad, and yeah, you're not really doing yourself any favors. So I think everything's just about balance, and I sort of balance more on the good side, I suppose, these days. Yeah. Which I guess this brings us into my last little point, which we've touched on across the course of our lovely conversation. But
Yes, sir.
I guess a summary. What are your top tips for longevity in drumming?
I would say like top top 10 tips.
Oh, not top 10. Just what are your top ones? Yeah,
The top tips.
if you've got 10, go for it.
I don't know that I have
Yeah.
10, but one at the top of any category for me, but mainly drumming is, remain teachable,
Yep.
stay open minded. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Stay in love with it. Don't I know plenty of people in and out of the craft. Never turn your back on it though. Don't just like throw it away, because it's like chances
No.
are if you're a drummer and you like drumming, you're gonna like it forever. So it's just like, even if you
Yeah.
don't do it professionally, whatever it is, it's a source to you that's a comfort zone, and something you enjoy. So
Yeah.
don't steal your joy from yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
remember where it came from, and that it's a fun thing. You know what I mean? And then those to my people that are doing this successfully out there. Be easier and kind on yourself about this thing, that we now
Yeah.
have to one up, because I know how our brains
Yeah.
work. How am I going to
Yeah.
one up the last thing I did? Oh my God, the next and it's not
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that. Just remember, you were once that kid in the garage with all the zits and all your dumb friends, and you
Yeah.
didn't give a shit about any of this. You never expected that you'd bring it this far. So it's
Yeah.
like, try to channel in that kid. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just do it because you love it. If you lose sight of that, then maybe you've lost sight. But you know what
Yeah.
I mean? You got to do it because you love it, and have fun with it. And but yeah, treat your body right. Learn new stuff. Practice all the time. Practice whenever you got time. If you got a job
Mm.
like most of us do outside of the band we're in,
Yeah.
write it down on that paper. Like, make time for practice as much, like, every day. Somehow,
Yeah.
even 10 minutes. You know what I mean? On your pad, like, you could still have a takeaway from that. You know what I mean? But
Totally.
um,
Yeah.
that's that's my best piece of advice. And as far as being a human in a band, you want a tip that'll keep you in a band as a drummer. Just just be a good person. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Know that once you're in a band and you're doing something, that you're in a family. Be conscious, know how to read the room. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Be yourself, but like, also know that you're dealing with other individuals, and just be respectful, and you should be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be over the top. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
read the room.
That's it. Yeah. Just be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Did you have anything that you wanted to plug?
Um, Other than, I am open for all serious inquiries, session wise.
Yep.
Touring touring bands that need a fill in. I'm always open to that. I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff with Chimaira here and there with Believe the Sky, but not a lot. So if you are a serious band, and you need a shredder, I am your guy. I will bring the positive energy and the
I can
shred.
vouch for that. I can definitely vouch for that.
Yeah, and yeah, just looking forward to creating music and playing music with like-minded people, man.
Yep. And you're also passing the torch to the young generation by teaching. So I
Yeah,
suppose that's another avenue if people want
100%.
some lessons with someone
Lessons,
like yourself.
sessions, any of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Words of
Amazing.
positivity. I'm out for it.
Yeah.
I reach out to anybody that messages me, and about drumming, or just like whatever inspiration, whatever. I pretty much reach back to anybody that hits me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Amazing. Dude, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks
Thanks
so
for
much
having me.
for being on my Drumwell podcast.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, my man.